And good day, everyone, and thanks again for attending today's session on Uncover the Network Analytics That Matter and 5 key metrics that will achieve a successful digital workplace. I'm Pete Bartz, a system engineer at Intuity, and with me today is my colleague Matt Tong, also a systems engineer, and we'll be your hosts for today's session. Both of us have a wealth of experience in the network management area. My background is from one of the largest public universities in the U.S., the University of Minnesota, where I was a network manager for a number of years. Matt also has hands-on experience in supporting many global enterprises with their network management activities. That being said, we hope you'll get a well-rounded, from-the-field viewpoint in today's session. Our agenda today will cover a number of topics. We'll include a quick overview and pain points. We'll run through our top 5 metrics that will help you achieve a digital workplace, and we'll officially wrap up the presentation. So with the preliminaries complete, let's get started. The current IT landscape can best be described as moving at the speed of light. New technologies, new devices, new applications all comprise in making an IT organization's digital strategy a moving target. Businesses must stay competitive, and IT teams must learn how to support their businesses in order to stay ahead. Facilitating a digital workplace is not an option, but a necessity for companies to remain successful. Many of the IT teams we talk with are in the midst of creating a digital environment with new technologies and applications at a rate that doesn't allow any room for error. Gartner has also noticed this trend. They've said, change is becoming so constant that long-term planning is impossible, and architectures, plans, and organizations need to adapt faster and more frequently than in the past. Because of all this change, moving ahead into the digital world can be a painful process. We've heard that IT organizations are having issues in scaling up and adding new devices with network management products that aren't designed to scale easily, and adding new devices under management may take months. Their help desk requests, they continue to escalate. Key applications that aren't performing lead to finger pointing. Poor performance, whether the cause is an application or a network, affects the bottom line. Revenue is lost, customer loyalty is strained, and IT's credibility suffers. Rolling out new services and adding new technologies and devices requires accurate visibility of the network. Is your network visibility accurate? Can you see how devices are interrelated? Is there enough bandwidth available for your next critical business application? Your network infrastructure details are the foundation to this process. All of these pain points can be addressed and eliminated if you have access to accurate network analytics. Your digital workplace is an evolving process, and accurate network analytics can assist in keeping your IT organization up to date. The ability to quickly manage new devices enables IT teams to more effectively manage new services for your constituents. Service performance analytics can safeguard that services are running 24/7. From proactive device metrics to tracking application traffic with NetFlow to monitoring how an application travels to and from your users, well, these are just a few of the metrics that can really add value. Network analytics can also deliver metrics to manage resources assigned to an application. This allows IT teams to proactively monitor change in advance of any issues that can impact services. Now, accurate data allows businesses and IT to make better decisions, creating a valuable digital end-to-end experience, and in turn, it provides positive business outcomes that can add to the bottom line. Let's take a look at our top 5 metrics and see how you can leverage this data to your advantage. Supporting your business services requires that you look beyond just the current state of the network and what's happening right now. In order to stay ahead of potential problems, you need to maintain an accurate history of network analytics and be able to efficiently leverage this for reporting, tactical analysis, and alerting. Network architectures continue to be more complex, and applications leverage multiple network technologies. As a result, there's no one silver bullet to address this. You need to support the appropriate collection of techniques to see the real performance picture. Understanding the behavior and trends for an application then require you to have an integrated view of historical performance. You need to know which part of the network is used by specific services, see historical performance including baseline details, and leverage additional technology analytics like QoS, IPSLA, and NBAR. And building an even better understanding of the traffic mix and performance using flow technologies enables you to answer questions like, who's consuming all the bandwidth? It's like an onion. You need to peel back layers to get a more detailed picture. And now that you can see the detail, having access to efficient planning reports to identify hotspots and predict future performance gives you the information that you need to plan forward. Skype for Business is one of the applications that we see our customers rolling out. And Matt, you've seen issues with some of these rollouts in talking with some of our customers.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So we had a customer that was seeing calls dropping out using Skype for Business. They needed to leverage some key poll data to resolve this. Our network analytics solution has a number of different ways that we can monitor this and aid in troubleshooting. QoS, or Quality of Service Control, allows you to reserve portions of the bandwidth for the time-sensitive traffic so that bulk transfers and other types of traffic are prevented from swamping our important voice over IP data. By monitoring and comparing the pre- and post-policy bit rates, they were able to see on a timeline when certain VoIP packets were being dropped, allowing them to fine-tune the QoS policy to avoid it in future. Another data stream that was important to them was monitoring the voice quality. Cisco IPSLA operations allowed them to monitor and alert on the human perception of the quality of a voice connection without a human having to actually complain. MOS scores helped them track certain times of the day when call quality was at its worst, from a range of 1 for unacceptable up to 5 for excellent. Monitoring and recording these metrics allowed them to extrapolate the data and gain insight on how this may worsen if nothing was done to rectify it. Now, I'm going to take us through our next metric, which is keeping key application path traffic in check by extending traditional app management techniques. Does your APM tool give you network insight? Which devices are attached and critical to performance? This first question is a key one. APM tools are great, and every enterprise will either be using one or looking to. Distributed applications are becoming more and more prevalent, and ensuring optimal end-user experience is becoming trickier, but at the same time more and more critical. APM tools give great insight on application transactions, user interactions, and they can even pinpoint specific lines of code that are causing issues. But if the network is at fault, that's where they run out of steam. Does your APM tool know which network devices are critical to the uptime and performance of your app, and empower you to pinpoint the problem within the network if user experience deteriorates? This is where application path monitoring comes in. It bridges the gap between APM and traditional network monitoring, which is great for insight, but also great news for users. Do you know the optimal path that application traffic should be taking? Where is the application traversing now, and is this the right path? Is there a shorter hop count that it could be taking, or even a faster link elsewhere that is not being actively used by this service? If you don't know where real application traffic is going, then the full power of your network may not be being utilized effectively to deliver applications and therefore business services. Path monitoring will allow you to see if the current path is the most favorable and give you necessary insight into how to effectively leverage your network for superior delivery. And does a change from this impact user experience? Do you even know if there's a change from the optimal path? If there's a configuration change on a device, for example, which results in application traffic being routed down a different path, is this detrimental? When and why did this change occur? Does it correlate with a change in the network? Are you given this insight with an APM tool? And this leads me on to the last point. Networks are resilient and they self-heal, but there could be consequences to that. Sometimes even if we have a complete device outage, we're still able to actually deliver the apps and services. Networks self-heal, and sometimes this can go unnoticed, or perhaps the consequences are not properly considered. Path monitoring tools can continually monitor the path taken between these endpoints, pinpoint the exact time this path changed, and give insight into any consequences this may introduce to experience. Pete, you recently saw an issue at a customer site where asymmetric routing was found using path discovery. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. And one of our customers ran into exactly this situation with asymmetric routing. But without going into the technical weeds, let me give some context around asymmetric routing and why it can be a real problem. Route symmetry assumes that traffic between 2 points traverses the same path in both directions. As you can see in the top diagram, traffic is taking the same path between sites A and B, and then the same path from B to A when it comes back. In a case where B to A doesn't follow the same path to get back to A, as you can see in that bottom graphic, this becomes asymmetric, and it can really cause application performance issues that can be very time-consuming to detect. Especially in a voice or video traffic environment, something like Skype for Business, asymmetric routing can cause significant quality issues that are, again, very tough to find. Now, in our customer's case, one of their remote sites had a problem where access to the business applications and even printing would time out for no apparent reason. The network looked good, and there were no visible application issues. And this became one of those, it's not my problem, and it was an issue that went back and forth over the wall for about a week. They decided to use Intuity to map the path the traffic was taking, and in minutes found that the traffic from the remote site, and that would be the remote site from A to B, took one path, but the traffic back from B to A took that different path, thus asymmetric routing. Once they saw this, it was easy to correct the routing behavior, and actually now that Intuity is monitoring this path on an ongoing basis, they can see within minutes if it ever happens again. And by the way, it did happen again, and it was fixed before the remote customers even noticed the problem. So let's take a look at our next metric. Networks continue to change and grow in terms of complexity, density, and technology. The network needs to be nimble in order to support the rapid changes and compressed timeframes required to roll out new services. In order to efficiently and quickly extend your network to support these new applications, you need accurate analytics to know where you're at. You can't plan around what you can't see, and you don't have the time to go do the research, whether the changes include on-premise networks or hybrid services. A gut feeling isn't good enough anymore to answer the question of, where will my next application stress the network? Your analytics platform needs to provide the required details to make decisions quickly and accurately, and in a manner that doesn't require an army of staff to support. So Matt, why don't you take us over to that fourth metric?
Thanks, Pete. I'm going to be taking us through how do we align resources with service demands. And just before I start on this one, just so we're all on the same page, we've included a graphic on the right. So business services is what we're talking about here, which is essentially could be a collection of applications, and the infrastructure is supporting the applications, the bottom of that pyramid, if you like. So we're talking about business services right at the top, which is on the forefront of sort of where everybody wants to ensure that things are functioning correctly, technical and non-technical audiences. And the first point on here is about role-based access, notifying appropriate stakeholders with service performance details. Now, to reduce silos in the operational realm is something that we all strive for. Reducing blind spots and eradicating war room scenarios when something goes wrong. Silos breed data that is only relevant to one function of operations, and most services are cross-discipline. Therefore, to ensure delivery, we need data that allows collaboration and insight. But at the same time, what is important to your function? If there is a server problem and you are responsible for this, then you need to know about details so that you can effectively fix that problem. Effective IT operations management is having all bases covered, but it's also important to empower appropriate stakeholders with information and data relevant to them. This allows enhanced collaboration as engineers are concentrating on their responsibilities so that the service can be delivered optimally. And the next point, dashboards for non-technical audience. With digital transformation and the step towards digital workplace, unfortunately, complexity is on the rise to keep tabs on services and the applications of today. Infrastructures are increasing in their complexity, and it is not as simple to just know that components are up. Descriptive analytics is analytics in its most simple form, deriving useful and meaningful insights from historical and real-time data. Operational tools should leverage their analytical power to summarize this data in a simple fashion. Non-technical and even technical audiences should be given simple and meaningful data so that a bird's eye view of your operations is something that's at your fingertips. Providing visibility into what devices and traffic patterns are associated with a particular service. Service modeling at all levels allows stakeholders to understand where portions of the infrastructure are critical to service delivery, and also how a service outage or degradation can be effectively resolved. By leveraging path monitoring, as discussed in Metric 2, network engineers are provided understanding on which devices, interfaces, and paths are relevant and critical to a service. Modeling these devices that are discovered with path discovery allow effective service monitoring and dynamic service modeling if things change or a resilient path is used. And my final point, performance metrics by service help us to enable future growth plans. Capacity planning is imperative to not only roll out and deliver a new service, but also to ensure that the growth and increased adoption of a service can be supported by the current infrastructure. Predictive forecasting on performance data allows a stakeholder to ascertain whether upgrades need to be rolled out on the network and when. Good trend data is derived from complete and accurate historical data, and to associate this to a service allows you to plan effectively with service delivery at the core of your planned infrastructure projects. Now, looking beyond services, Pete will take us through the last metric on how we can leverage data to make better business decisions.
We recognize that the network is a critical component to supporting and rolling out business services. But it's still just one of the components, and we need to look beyond the network. To get a complete IT perspective, you need to leverage your network analytics into that big picture. This enables you to increase productivity and resolve infrastructure and application problems even faster. The result, improved service delivery. Now, Intuity supports integrations with a number of the major ITSM vendors such as BMC, ServiceNow, Foglight, IBM, and others. And in addition, we provide standard integration facilities to support third-party specialty applications like AppDynamics, OpsGenie, XMatters, IPsoft, and even others. As your digital environment grows, it will be important to be able to leverage your network analytics into the rest of your management platform because the enhanced visibility gained will enable better IT collaboration, more efficient management with faster resolution times, and more importantly, analytics to make better business decisions. To conclude our session for today, IT organizations have come a long way in supporting their business. Architecting your digital future will be ongoing and will rely on accurate analytics. The 5 metric areas we covered today are just the tip of the iceberg. Performance metrics are key. Find what metrics matter to your environment and get them automated and keep your constituents productive. Use a variety of methods to monitor your applications. Don't just rely on standard APM to get the job done. Leverage the network analytics to see how applications are connected. Change is inevitable, so accurate network visibility is vital to support rapid deployments and growth. Service management metrics are helpful in a digital ecosystem, allowing IT to support the business more effectively. And get your network data dovetailed with other IT management areas. Transparency is the goal, and silos, they're not efficient anymore. We hope that you see the value that network analytics bring to an IT team and to your business. Network analytics is an important piece in developing your digital transformation both today and tomorrow. To put some validation about digital transformation on the board, in a Doyle Report blog post, Tom Kenshigi mentioned that in an SAP survey, 85% of the top 100 digital transformation leaders say they've increased market share. 4 out of 5 leaders report higher profitability compared with 53% for all others. And nearly 1 out of 4 expect more revenue growth from digital transformation over the next 2 years. It's clear that digital transformation improves business agility and gives IT organizations an important role in creating the services for their constituents in order to ensure success. If you have any questions or would like more information, please contact Matt or myself or send email to info@intuiti.com. And again, we appreciate your time, and thanks again for attending.